Hey, how's it going guys? It's Nate here. And Skyrim is a game with more than just a handful of evil or otherwise unruly NPCs for the player to jockey with. From your simple highway bandit to a dragon that literally wants to eat the world, it seems like there is no shortage of evildoers anywhere you look. Well, despite that, there may be even more than you think, as a handful of malintentioned individuals may just be hiding right under our noses in plain sight. Believe it or not, a variety of seemingly normal average NPCs we've been interacting with for years are in fact harboring some very dark secrets indeed. So today, whether it be clever cannibals or secret skooma dealers, we're going to be taking a look at 5 NPCs with some secrets of their own in The Elder Scrolls V. Starting off, Lisbeth is the owner and manager of Arnleif & Sons Trading Company store in Markarth. She inherited the store after her husband unexpectedly passed away. But for the most part, despite forsworn attacks on her caravans and a plethora of other problems, she's managed to keep the business afloat, and even has a handful of employees. She's providing jobs. On top of stimulating the economy, Lisbeth will offer you a quest to retrieve a stolen statue from a forsworn camp. But other than those things, she's not particularly notable. Well, this seemingly simple small business owner is harboring a very big secret. During the quest, The Taste of Death, in which the Dragonborn assists a clan of cannibals in a handful of tasks, towards the quest's end, the player is supposed to join them for one final feast, as well as bring the person they'll be eating. Many disgusting people-eaters will be at this feast, and among them is actually Lisbeth. She's a cannibal too. When approached, she'll even suggest that she's responsible for killing her husband, saying, quote, "He had a great taste."
One of my customers? Did you know I inherited the store from my late husband? Shame what happened to him. He had such good taste.
Lisbeth's husband's death wasn't unexpected. She murdered him to death, and then took his store over. Now, of course, at this stage in the quest, you can either join with the cannibals in their feast and keep their secret, or cut them all down right then and there, putting an end to their unorthodox eating habits. The choice is all yours. Next on our list is probably the most well-known on the video, but she's relevant to our number 3 spot as well. Isola is a Nord woman living in Whiterun. She spends most of her time in the town's marketplace, talking with the vendors and studying their trade. When spoken to, Isolde claims that one day she hopes to purchase an inn, but for now is making a living by trading with Skyrim's various roaming Khajiit caravans. At face value, this Nord seems like a perfectly respectful, rising entrepreneur, until you learn that not all of her business is entirely clean. Head over to Sleeping Tree Camp, a giant encampment west of Whiterun in the plains, and nearby you'll find the entrance to Sleeping Tree Cave. Head on inside and you will find quite a disturbing sight. An orc lies dead, seemingly bludgeoned with a club, while the giant responsible stands nearby. After dispatching of the giant, loot the orc, and you'll find that he was attempting to collect a hallucinogenic known as Sleeping Tree Sap. His intention was to then sell this Sleeping Tree Sap to Isolde of Whiterun. Obviously, that didn't go out the way he planned, but after uncovering this letter, you can then confront Isolde, and she'll admit to selling some not-so-healthy bottles of narcotics such as skooma and the sap. She will then offer to buy them from you at a higher price than most vendors, considering her old supplier is, well, no longer available. Coming in at number 3, Drita is the wife and business partner of Bercy Honeyhand in Riften. Together they run the Pond Prawn, one of the city's most recognizable shops. The two seem like a pretty loving couple, and while their business is certainly going through a rough patch, what with the Thieves Guild and all that, their marriage doesn't seem to be. The two, while sometimes somewhat critical of each other, are always very respectful, and definitely seem to care for each other greatly. Alas, it seems like Drita may not be entirely honest, and is in fact embezzling money from the two's business in order to feed a very disappointing addiction. As underneath Drita's bed lies a bottle of skooma, Skyrim's most addictive narcotic. Now, this alone doesn't prove too much. Sure, she may be into skooma, but who's to say she's paying for it with stolen money and her husband doesn't know? Well, if you catch both Drita and Bercy together in the Pond Prawn at the same time, there's a very small chance you may overhear the following conversation.
Drita? I was looking through our books and there's an entry for spices. Says we spent 300 septims. What is that?
Spices? I'm certain I have no idea what you're talking about.
You sure? It was in your handwriting. If you can't keep the books straight, then let me do them.
Ah, yes, spices. That was a special order for someone in Whiterun. Should be along any day now. Don't let it worry you, my dear.
Drita is definitely making some shady and very expensive orders to Whiterun. Now, I don't know anyone in Whiterun who sells spices, but I do know a fellow that sells skooma. Make of this what you will. For 4th spot, Legelf is the owner of Quicksilver Mine in Dawnstar. He's a middle-aged divorced Nord, and his ex-wife Bstilla is actually running a competing mine called Ironbreaker Mine just across the city. The two seem to absolutely hate each other, as both mine owners constantly comment on how much better their operation is compared to their ex-spouses. Bstilla will tell you that they, quote, make twice as much coin as those horkers in Quicksilver, and Legelf calls his competitors milk-drinking scum. It's an obvious, passionate rivalry. But it ends there. No more than a little bit of competition between business partners, right? Hell, that may even be a good thing in some circumstances. Well, as you can probably guess, it doesn't end there. You see, Bstilla, Legelf's ex-wife, is a potential target for a Dark Brotherhood assassination contract offered by Nazim. Now, it's never explicitly stated in-game that Legelf was the one who performed the Black Sacrament and put out the contract initially. But oh my, it is heavily implied that that is indeed the case. For one, he harbors an open hatred of her, and even after her death, Bstilla will actually seem quite happy, saying, quote, he won't miss her.
My wife, Bstilla, is dead. Can't say I miss that old saber cat.
Now, already this seems like a pretty horrible thing for a man to do, but it gets a lot worse, because Bstilla, the woman he likely got killed, actually seems to have not really hated him in the end. While Bstilla does speak very harshly of her ex-husband, should you ever kill him, she'll instead kind of shift her attitude and talk about how much she really misses him after the fact.
My husband Legelf is dead. I never thought I would miss that oaf so much.
There's even a small chance that she'll send hired thugs to attack the Dragonborn in response. She still had feelings for the guy. Sure, they were competitors, but she'd never dare hurt him, making the fact that Legelf is likely responsible for her death a lot more awful. And finally, last on our list, we have the NPC harboring perhaps the darkest secret of them all. Meet Carlotta Valentia. She's a market stall owner in Whiterun and sells various grocery-like items, such as fresh baked goods and a variety of fruits. Additionally, she's even the single mother of a young daughter that she appears to love very much, making her the last type of person you'd imagine to be hiding such evil. But rest assured, this loving small business owner mother thing is only a facade to cover up a very dark truth. Hang around Carlotta's stall during store hours, and you may overhear her and Ulfina Greymane have the following conversation.
Did you raise your prices, Carlotta?
I had to. The farmers are charging me double for the produce I sell.
Let me guess. They're saying it's because of this trouble with the Stormcloaks?
Exactly. Road patrols were cut in half because the Jarl needed soldiers. Now the bandits are bolder than ever.
Seems unfortunate. Evidently, poor Carlotta's had to raise prices as a result of the Civil War's conflict. How terrible. But, what if I were to tell you that actually wasn't the case? Remember Isola? Yeah, I know, she has her nose in everything, doesn't she? Well, you can overhear a conversation between her and Carlotta that seems to explain the real reason behind the recent price hikes.
Those green apples you sold me the other day were delicious.
Aren't they? I always set some aside for myself when the traders bring them up from the south.
I'm sure you could charge double for those and still sell them all within a week.
You're right. I'll have to remember that the next time I get a shipment in.
Carlotta's prices were never being driven up because merchants and farmers were charging more. She's taken that liberty herself. Sure, some folks on this list may be narcotic dealers or cannibals or murderers, but Carlotta, no, she's done something far worse. She may be guilty of lightly price gouging, and that is a secret the world must one day know. But with that final, potentially somewhat lightly unethical business practice, we are going to wrap up. Thanks for watching, everybody. 5 NPCs who are hiding something. Which of the characters and their secrets on this list surprised you the most? And what NPCs do you know of that are doing something a little shady behind the scenes that I haven't covered yet? Leave a comment down below. As I always say, like ratings are very much appreciated, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Peace out, everyone.